Hey, Zill Brothers here once again, and this is a topic about free speech. You got to take the partisanship out of this one, okay? So if you are a Democrat or you're a Republican, take your ignorant glasses off that will make you look at this through party lenses and look at this as a fact that our free speech is under attack. And the story that I'm going to reference is one about Representative Jim Banks, a Republican from Indiana. On Saturday, his official Twitter account was banned because he referred to the first transgender four-star officer for the military by the original gender that officer had. And here's the thing that I want to point out is we have social media attempting to judge what is and what is not acceptable. And when they do that, they limit free speech. Now, in the past, when you look at free speech and the threats to it, oftentimes people thought the threats would come from the government. Nobody really anticipated this kind of threat. So people always thought that the government would, so let's say there was a governor and you insulted that governor would throw you in jail, and then all the opposition would be afraid to speak, and that governor would be able to ensure his own reelection. And so in that sense, people were afraid that government would threaten free speech. But we didn't anticipate that there will be a two-party system and that one side, right, or a more liberal side would be protected by social media companies that transmit everybody's speech. And in that sense, limit people's free speech. And it's a thorny issue when you come to the Constitution, because it's like this. When you look at Twitter or you look at Facebook or YouTube, they have a right about what they will and will not allow on their own platforms. And I get that. But on the other hand, if they are the microphone, right, if they are the only field by which we can amplify our speech, and they will not allow people to speak on certain topics or to espouse certain views, they are in themselves limiting free speech. And that's something that we need to be worried about, because we may not have the levers in the legislative system to deal with this kind of violation. And I'll put it to you in this sense. What Twitter and Facebook is doing, let's say a pastor speaks out and he says homosexuality is a sin. He could be banned. And the truth of the matter is that by all rights is no different than if he goes to your house and he says, hey, he says homosexuality is a sin, and you don't like that and you kick him out your house. You have every right to kick him out of your house. But Facebook's house is the whole world. So when they kick him out the house, who can he talk to? Ultimately, he's thrown to the wilderness. And when we have these big tech companies trying to censor the individuals, and they always censor against the moral stance. They always censor against the Christian stance. They always go against the stance that will have any moral standards, any traditional standards, any real standards. And they always are predisposed to support the sides that are against that. So anti-Christian stances. So if somebody got on there and they said something about Christians, even if it was hateful, that will be accepted. Something against straight people, something against men, that's accepted. And so we have to accept that we are under threat. If you are somebody who speaks your mind, you are under threat, because the line of what's acceptable is moving radically. It used to be that somebody could say, I support gay marriage, but I think homosexuality itself is a sin. And they could say that and nobody would say anything. Or somebody could say, I'm against gay marriage, but I don't hate gay people. Somebody could say something like that and that would be acceptable. That's no longer socially acceptable. Not that I give a crap. I'm going to say what I say. On this channel, we say what we say. Everywhere I go, I say what I say. And so what cost it? It'll be whatever cost it is, I'll accept that cost. But a lot of people don't have that same kind of courage that we got on this channel. A lot of you guys watching it because we're saying what a lot of you guys wish you could say. Or some of you guys are afraid you might lose your job because you're saying what you're saying. I don't have that same fear. If I lose my job, I lose my job. But some of you guys are worried about things like this. And I understand it. You might say to yourself, is this really the hill I want to die on? But my point is raising awareness. As men, we have to stand up and we have to fight these injustices. And even if you are somebody that disagrees with the stand of this representative, you need to stand up for his right to say his opinion. Now, it is my opinion that I don't care what kind of view you have. As long as you are not saying what you're saying in an attempt to be offensive way of speaking, you should be able to say it. I don't care if you hate black people. If you get up there and you say, I think black people are less than white people, I think you should have a right to say that. I would disagree with it vehemently, but I think you should have a right to say it. That's how far I am on free speech. I think it don't matter how much hateful you are, as long as you express yourself in an intelligent way, no platform should ban you. But hey, I'm a free speech extremist. I believe everybody should speak, because when you try to hide speech, people still say it. They just say it behind closed doors. And then the counter arguments seem so invalid because we have simply excluded them from the sphere of public discourse. So keep your awareness. The threats to free speech are real.